It is moving very quickly to the north, so before we know it, it's going to be into the Gulf Coast, and that's where we're expecting a landfall to happen, somewhere between New Orleans and Pensacola at this time. Still tough to nail down exactly where that's going to happen, but one major city that we know is going to be impacted is Mobile, Alabama, and joining us via Skype right now is Mayor Sandy Stimpson, joining us from Mobile. Thank you so much for your time, because I know how busy you guys have been preparing for this storm.
Well, you know, it's whenever there's a storm in the Gulf, every mayor along the coast is busy, and so that's no different today than any other storm.
Well, yeah, you know, and as you prepare for this storm, you know, what are some of the steps you are taking to prepare your citizens and even prepare your staff for this potential big event headed your way?
Well, when it comes to the citizens, it's just very important, you know, that they stay in tune with the local media. The media does an excellent job of keeping them apprised of the changes in the pattern of the storm and all the peculiarities of the storm. You know, our message to all citizens is always, don't wait to the last minute to start making contingency plans for what you and your family will do. And we just have to continue saying that to make sure that they realize that it is a threat.
And the geography of the Gulf Coast, there are so many barrier islands, there's just so many different intricacies. Are there anything specific to Mobile that has you concerned more about wind versus storm surge, or what is going to be the highest impact of this system for your town?
Well, but this system, you know, the thought right now is that it will be, storm surge is probably going to be more challenging and have more effect than the wind. At least that's the prediction as we look at it today, because the storm surge comes in quickly, and you really don't have to, unlike flooding that's created from a rain event, a storm surge, you know, is moving quickly, and so people don't typically have the time to get out of the way. And so we have barrier islands off the coast of Mobile. As they listen to national weather forecasts or local weather forecasts, the barrier islands have to make preparations ahead of, you know, the landfall, because you start feeling the impact of the storm, you know, before it actually hits landfall.
Yeah, so that is definitely a concern for the barrier islands, but also Mobile and even the Bay, because I know Mobile has a lot of cruise ships that actually dock around your city. Am I correct? And so have you heard from those companies or those organizations in terms of how they're prepping to handle this storm? Yes,
you know, the cruise lines generally do a great job of making preparations and dealing with storms. In a port like the Port of Mobile, the Coast Guard actually, or the captain of the port, determines when the port will close down. The cruise lines will be in touch with them to make sure that they are coordinating their schedule. We have a cruise ship that's actually supposed to come into port early Saturday morning, and it's going to be problematical whether they get in and can get out ahead of the storm. So, yes, we are always in communication with them.
And quickly, just give us a word for the citizens of Mobile. If you could sit down one-on-one with them across the table over a cup of coffee, what do you really want them to know coming into Tropical Storm Nate?
Stay alert and pay attention to what's going on from the local weather forecasting and the national weather forecasting. Have a plan and be prepared to execute, because this storm is going to come ashore during the middle of the night. And if you wait till after dark on Saturday night to start making plans, you may find that yourself trapped by water.
Yeah, and that would be a serious situation, a dangerous situation indeed for those folks to face.
Thank you so much to Mayor Sandy Stimpson of Mobile, who was so gracious to join us via Skype. His entire state is preparing at this point. Governor Kay Ivey issuing states of emergency out there. He talked about the unique problem with Mobile and the storm surge, and that's something we're going to be checking in with him throughout the storm on, because we know the Bay there presents a specific difficulty.
Especially, and because of the track of the storm as it's traveling, if it stays farther to the west, that potentially means more water being pushed into that bay where Mobile sits. So that's a concern. But some of the stats, again, for the Gulf Coast in terms of impacts, some areas picking up 3 to 6 inches of rain.
Isolated spots could see as much as a foot. In that warning, which Mobile is in, 4 to 7 feet of storm surge possible, in addition to those at least tropical storm force winds.